Hello there, welcome to episode 68 of Never Mind the Bullens. It's your bite-sized weekly Everton podcast and vodcast. My name's Mike Peters. Only one topic of discussion on this week's episode, Manchester United game, which I think we can all probably agree that we were going into it with a certain amount of trepidation, a bit of apprehension, obviously, with the amount of players that we're still missing. Obviously, Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison, I mean, that's a massive miss in the front line. Hopefully, they'll be back in time for the West Ham game after the international break. And obviously missing Seamus Coleman, obviously then Andre Gomez and Alex Iwobi as well, all of which who would have featured in the match day squad. And you're going in thinking, right, goodness me, you know, United with the huge resources at their disposal. Obviously, last minute winner against Villarreal in the Champions League last week. You think they'd be sort of bouncing, and obviously keen to get back to winning ways in the league after that defeat against Aston Villa last Saturday. And you're thinking, do I need to watch this game from behind the sofa? For the first couple of minutes, United were out the traps really, really quickly, which I suppose is to be expected. They're at home, anticipation of the crowd and all that. But actually, this wasn't a point that we sort of fluked, which you could argue maybe in seasons past that we've got away with results there. I think back to the game when Duncan Ferguson was in charge, and it really was a backs-to-the-wall sort of operation. Again, we were decimated by injuries then. I think we really had no midfielders. Mason Holgate played in central midfield, and we really had to... It was just a rearguard action, and I did think it was going to be the same again, but we grew into the game fantastically well and could quite easily have won the game. I think we were very unlucky to go behind. United had a couple of decent chances. Obviously, Edison and Cavani had that really good header, which he probably got a bit too close to Jordan Pickford. Martial has that header earlier on in the first half, which he probably should score. It's a terrific chance at the back post. But we'd had two or three really, really decent openings, and you can just see the difference. Solomon Rondon clearly still searching for fitness, and just not quite at it where we need him to be at the minute. Now, that's no fault of his own. He's not played a lot of football, and obviously he's been forced to go in and be the hold-up man for us and be that focal point. And I think under the circumstances, he's done a pretty decent job. But you just think when the ball's coming to him at the minute in front of goal, you're just thinking, touch isn't quite there. You're not, either he's not going to score. I don't think we've got any confidence in him, or not much. And we know that he's sort of doing a job, but. Rafa Benitez seems to think that the goals will come. I tend to agree with him. We think we all sort of said, well, actually, he's quite a good signing. It's just not quite happening for him yet. Nonetheless, we have plenty of attacking play. I mean, Abdoulaye Doucouré has become the player that we all knew he could be, obviously playing in that much more advanced role, and is really, at the moment, the talisman of the team. Alongside Damari Gray, who yet again was excellent. His pace and his ability to run with the ball is, it scares the pants off defenders. It really does, in the form that he's in. He's full of confidence, and that really good chance which he took, his decision making was good. Took it early. David De Gea makes a good save, and again, the industry of him and Doucouré and Andros Townsend, or as I've now renamed him, Wondros Townsend, because he's that good at the minute. His form's that good. It allows other players in the team that that Alan's to be playing much more. Who's really stepped it up, because one of the concerns with Alan is the fact that he lacks pace. And occasionally the games can pass him by, but he didn't on Saturday because it's defending from the front that those front players are allowing him to play a much more comfortable role in terms of screening the defence and doing the dirty work that he has to do in that role in the team. I must make mention of Anthony Gordon as well, because I'm a big fan of his. I think he's got a huge amount of potential, as to the club, obviously. Otherwise, they wouldn't have given him a 5-year contract. And I'm really hopeful that he'll get more opportunities, because I think he can offer more. And I think he offered more on Saturday than Alex Iwobi. he was a bit slow to get to the pace of the game. It took him a little bit of time, and me and brother going, well, he said that he thought he was a bit slow to get to the pace of the game, but I felt he really grew into it. He wanted that just a little bit of extra time that you don't get in the Premier League, particularly against sides like Manchester United. You've got to be on it, but he stepped it up, and I thought he did an excellent job in his role. Created things, won free kicks, was calm on the ball, used it well, was trying to get the ball in the box, made sensible decisions, and that's what you want to see from a player growing like him. Obviously went out on loan to Preston last year, which was not the most successful through no fault of his own, because they were in a bit of an uphill battle to stay in the Championship. And he's come back, and we want to see him given those opportunities. He's been forced into it at the minute because of the injuries that we've got. But I hope that he's going to get more chances, more opportunities off the bench, and more opportunities to start games in the coming weeks and months. But the goal, our goal. I mean, I think their goal's mildly unfortunate because it takes a deflection of 5 past Jordan Pickford. Very little he can do about it. But our goal, brilliant. A bit of industry from Damari Gray and strength, which you want to see as well. That he knocked Fred off the ball, although it's Fred, isn't it? It's not saying much. He's not exactly the world's greatest midfielder, is he? But then the pace breaking from midfield, and Andros lovely play from Decore into Townsend and players I've already mentioned, and a lovely finish, no messing, full of confidence, and another goal to add to his collection for the September Goal of the Month winner, and rightly so as well for that absolutely magnificent strike against Burnley. But it was a point that we absolutely merited, and the only frustration is, of course, with that chance with Tom Davies. And I'm just looking at his stats, and I'm thinking, when he gets into that position, you're thinking, shoot, Tom, shoot. But he's not going to, because he scored 1 goal in 3 years, and he just has no confidence in front of goal. But we know he can score goals. We know he's got the ability to do so. Famously scored that wonderful goal against Man City, his first, and then scored again a couple of months later against Leicester. But he doesn't score goals, and passes the ball. Andros Townsend, in his post-match interview, said that was the right thing to do. The pundits on Match of the Day, my doppelganger Danny Murphy, suggested that Ian Wright said he should have had a go. His first touch wasn't great, but then Yerry Mina doesn't quite hold his run, and the chance of, I say nicking all 3 points, but I think that would be a tad generous to Manchester United if I said that, because I think we could absolutely have merited the win. That we could have walked away, but with all 3. That said, I think earlier in the week with the players that we had missing, like I said, if we are offered a point at Manchester United and a performance like that, then we'd have bitten your hand off, no question at all. We're still right in the hunt for in the top 4. We're 3 or 4 of us now gathered on 14 points. We're only 2 points off the top of the table, and I think after 7 matches, given the summer transfers and all the rest of it, and the sort of the issues that the club of Rafa Benitez have had to deal with from a squad point of view in terms of getting players out to free up space on the wage bill with FFP, that is an outstanding return on the first half dozen games of the season. It really is. And I think as well, that performance on Saturday will finally be, finally shut up any remaining naysayers about the way that we're playing or about Rafa Benitez's appointments. And we all had, let's say, reservations. None of us, I think, were overly enthusiastic to start with, but I said on this podcast that as long as he wins matches, we'll be happy. He's winning matches, we're playing good football, playing industrious football, we're seeing commitment, we're seeing energy, we're seeing effort, which are the absolute, the bare minimum as Evertonians that we expect to see from our team. If we lose games, we lose games. If we're going to lose, we want to have a go. And even if we had lost on Saturday, we could have said, do you know what? The performance was excellent. There would be a huge amount of positives to take out of it. But we've taken more than positives. We've taken a point, and that's a really, really good result. So hopefully that we can now really kick on. Obviously, that squad is limited, and to really capturing on that early momentum, players will need to come in January. I think that's pretty widely sort of agreed, and I think there is money in the pot now to do that with the getting rid of particularly James Rodriguez. So obviously an international break. Hopefully that the players come back fit and without too many injuries. We managed to get Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin fit for the West Ham game in a couple of weeks' time, because that'll be a big game. West Ham have had a good start to the season as well. David Moyes, of course, returning to Goodison. But at the moment, we can go into the international break feeling pretty positive, which is nice, isn't it? Until next time, you can get in touch at NMTVPod on Twitter, nmtvpod@gmail.com, or you can leave me a voice note on the description of the podcast. You can drop us a voice message in there. We shall see you next time. This has been a Top Content production. Come on, you Blues.